Hi everyone, I trust we are good. You're welcome to my live stream today. So today we want to discuss on worksite safety, safety at your workplace. Yeah, it's nice that we all got where to go, where to keep ourselves busy. But is that place you're working, is it safe? How are you going to make it more safer and better for everyone? Those are some of the things we'll be considering in today's discussion, okay? Yeah, hi Vicky, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so glad for having you here, Vicky. So our discussion is on industrial site safety, which simply means safety at your workplace. So we all know that, yeah, not every places happens to be lucky enough where they can have better pay, better job satisfaction, and so on. But on the other hand, that doesn't imply that you should risk your life to the point of losing it. A second, okay? So it doesn't mean you should risk your life to the point of losing it. So what are we talking about? There are some things that needs to be put in place for your job site to be safe enough for you. If you're in the health settings, there are some things that must put in place. Yeah, safety at work is paramount. Indeed, it is. It is. A lot of persons play down on this aspect. Some persons, because of the work pressure or the pressure from home, so they don't even think about this aspect. Most of the worksite injuries, worksite mishap that takes place are because safety measures are not put in place or they are not followed through. So there might also be settings where the work safety measures, those who are working there, they don't take it serious. So I have seen a place where that happens to be the healthcare setting where staffs are using bare hands to handle blood. I'm like, do you know the risks involved in it? Please, a sec, okay, I'm coming. I'll be back right now. So I'm like, do you know the risks involved in this? Because a lot of bloodborne illnesses can occur out of this. For instance, hepatitis. Treatment of hepatitis is not as easy as presumed. It's not as easy as presumed. And that's why we must take our safety as the major priority at our workplace. Yeah, we must take our safety as the major priority. Don't play down on it. Besides hepatitis, what about other viral infections such as HIV? How about other infections that could come up like tuberculosis and so on? We have to treat our safety as the most important thing when it gets to your workplace. Now, for those in industrial settings, there are persons who have fall from height, not necessarily because they are not used to climbing height, but because they did not keep to a particular safety measure they were supposed to. So, for instance, those who, even including people who are into the movie industry, in recent time we saw a particular mishap that took place where one of the most popular actor actually got drowned when the boat capsided. So we found out that most persons that were saved were because, okay, Vicky, I'll talk about that. Okay, anyway, I'm a mental health professional. I'm a public health professional also. I'm certified in both aspects, both public health and mental health. Okay, so I'm also a drug and addiction therapist. Then I also am I'm a coach, a business coach. Yeah, thank you, Vicky. All right. So we find out that in that very accident, the persons who were saved was because they used life jacket. So it doesn't just cut across people who are on land. So it goes even up to those persons who use ferries, who or whom their major means of income is using the water means of transportation. Yeah. So worksite safety goes beyond just those at the hospital, those in production site and so on. It includes everyone, like everywhere you know that you are working, even at your shop. Even at your shop, you must take your safety very important. Imagine coming to your shop, you have pills on the floor, you have spills of water everywhere. One can actually slide down because of those spills of water, or the peels of, for instance, banana and so on. So we have to take our safety as priority. That's why we call for this very timely discussion. So what are some of the things that we have to look into? So for instance, thank you so much, Vicky. Vicky say you are doing amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. God bless you. All right. So let's say you are in a construction facility or construction site. Already we know that there will be electrical appliances or wirings around that very setting. That implies that your safety boot, you shouldn't play with it. That also implies that your cap, that helmet they use, you mustn't play with it. Your helmet must be on always. Please, if you are connected to this live stream, please do well to give us a thumbs up, okay? Do well to give this live stream a thumbs up, just to support your boy, okay? Yeah, thank you. So you have to put your helmet always, your safety boot, because going on barefoot in such site are not safe at all. It's not safe. Then, on the other hand, you should also expect that there are sharps all over. That's why from time to time, either before or after they work for that very day, you have to ensure that you reduce, they call it harm reduction. You reduce those sharps, those ones that after you have used them, you try to reduce them from the place where people will gain access out of the industrial site. Reduce them, for instance, nails, iron, sharp irons, and other ones you could mention. Try as much as possible. Either they should pick them, have a particular place where they discard those sharps, so that someone will not, I have seen a case where friends were ready. Before you know, the other one pushes the friend, and he landed upon a particular sharp that was facing up. Now, this would have been prevented if someone was knowledgeable enough to take off those shaft from there. So you don't just discard the shaft anyhow. Try as much as possible to have a side. This will even go for, thank you so much, Vicky, for the emoji. This will even go for the persons who are managers, or they call them, what's the name for them? When I recall, let us know, okay? I think both the project managers, the safety personnel, yeah, the safety, that's what they call them, safety personnel or safety officers. You have to ensure that you take these things off the floor. Have a particular site where you dump sharps that have been used. This is to reduce the level of harm. On the other hand, have a safety exit. Let there be a point. This also goes beyond. Yes, you go beyond those persons that are at their workplace, even at home. If you have a building, have a particular safety door, especially if that building has several rooms, because anything can happen any moment. There's this aunt of mine. My aunt and my cousins were saved from robbery because they had exit route, and they also have entry route. So the robbers were coming from the entry route. They locked all the doors, used a lot of things to then move out of the room using the exit from behind. So this is just one of the ways, or this is just an instance where employers who have all these industrial sites should learn from. Have an exit door. It shouldn't just be one door that everybody goes in through and then comes out from the same door. Have an exit door. More especially where employers are obligated to ensure safety of the employees. Yeah, sure, they have to start from the employers before it gets to the employee, because some of these errors are either from the employers or the employees. Some of them may be what they would have done or what they failed to do, and on the other hand may even be issues with awareness. Now let me go to, I used to give this instance. Most persons who purchase phone in recent time, just after they get the phone, they will just start using it without checking the manual. How many persons are there that even know that there is need to check manual? Most persons are not used to checking manuals. So what do you expect if those kind of persons are working in industrial sites? They will not adhere, they may not even be aware of what it entails to work in industrial sites. So you have an entry route separate, that is different from the exit route. Goes beyond that to each, for employers now, each morning or at the end of the day, make it mandatory that there must be pep talk. There must be pep talk. There must be pep talk. What I mean by pep talk is just an early morning orientational kind of discussion where the medics will come to discuss, the safety manager will come to discuss, as well as the project manager. They will come to discuss, then give information, pass information to every other person. So they should have that muster point where pep talks are given, so that those persons who are not used to or who are just starting up in industrial site, they will have the opportunity to be aware of things they are not aware that will enhance their safety. Yeah. So on the other hand, there should also be times for relaxation where they can go. I have seen sites where from the point, that is the employer, now this is for the employer, from the point where you enter to the point where you are leaving, there is no point for resting. There's no point. You don't shut down and nothing. This would at the later end cause severe fatigue for your staffs. Severe fatigue. We know you have limited time to cover a lot of project and so on, but there should be time too for rest. There should be that time for rest. Now let's go to for your employer, some of the criteria that they must meet daily before they resume work. People that have BP related complaints, you should know that height would not be good for them. Height would not be good for them. So what do you do? Ensure that each of your staff, as they resume work, they go in for checkup. That's the role of the medic. They go in for checkup, and they shouldn't compromise this. Height is not good for people with BP related concerns, more especially where their BP is high that morning. It's not safe for them. Try as much as possible for all your staff, and then those who are involved, the medics, they shouldn't compromise it at all. They shouldn't compromise it. So when you check your BP and you have seen that it is high, if you are on medication, ensure you take it. This is another challenge we have with most of the stroke related patients we have handled, where they have complaints with their medication, more especially those persons who are on amlodipine. They'll tell you it makes me to urinate frequently, I urinate so often and so on. Please, if you have any concern with your medication, discuss it with your clinician. Discuss with your clinician. You are not in the right place to determine when to take it, how to take it. You are not in that position to determine it. So when you have concern, discuss it with them. They will be the one to guide you professionally how to take that medication, if there's need to increase or there's need to reduce, and the frequency to take that very medication. They'll be the one to guide you, because they'll be guiding you from an informed standpoint. You get? So thank you so much for everyone still connected here. Please, if you are here to give this live stream a thumbs up, please do well to give this live stream a thumbs up. All right. Then those persons who have injuries that will not enhance their working, they should, especially those who are sick, please This is going to the employers and their staff. If you are sick, no need to come and waste your time so that you don't slump on the job. Go for proper treatment. Ensure you treat yourself. Those injuries, treat them. Some persons may have injuries on their legs, on their hands, but because they want to see how to meet up, I know it's not easy, but you might introduce tetanus to all this, to those wounds and so on. Now, when it's raining, the weather is cloudy, ensure that works are suspended. There are sites, whether it's raining or so on, except it's heavy rain, they will still continue. This is what would lead most persons to get electrocuted. This is what will lead most persons. So when the cloud, it's in fact when the rain starts coming, because there are staffs that would not just adhere to their safety measures, they will not just adhere. So it's necessary you ensure that they all go and rest while it is raining. It is very necessary they go and take that relaxation for themselves, and then they can resume back when the rain has given the time. And then from time to time, check your staffs that they are keeping to the prescribed dress code, prescribed attitude desired of them at the workplace. So if your safety boot is already going bad, ensure you fix it up. If your helmet is already going bad, ensure you fix it up. If there is need, your kind of work involves you to use gloves. Now, this is for the industrial side. Ensure you get the appropriate gloves and use it when necessary. Now, let's shift over to those persons in the laboratory. In the lab, if you know these products are highly inflammable, persons who are there should adhere to what it entails to work in sites where you have highly inflammable products. Ensure they adhere to it. Ensure they adhere to it. Put the danger signs. Label all your instruments. Ensure they are well labeled. This also goes to including the industrial side and hospital settings. Keep those signs, those warning signs, those symbols. So for instance, danger. If there is anything that will cause danger, put that sign so that anybody coming to that zone will know that this place is dangerous. If it's something that needs no smoking at that spot, then also put something to indicate that no smoking is allowed around this place. Thank you so much. Make morning with favor. So glad having you here. God bless you. Thank you so much. All right. So put that very symbol. Let them know that smoking is not allowed here. I have stumbled upon some centers where you'll find out that the kind of reagents they have there, or the kind of industry they have, they don't need to smoke there. And you find out that the staffs are even smoking there. That's why people work in industrial setting as much as possible. Avoid substance abuse. Avoid substance. Avoid substance. If you must do it, please don't do it at your work site. This even goes to people who are driving. You see drivers will be driving and smoking. They'll be driving and smoking. They'll be driving and they're high. Remember, we're talking about industrial sites, and we pinch a bit of other industrial sites simply mean work site safety. So let's not just concentrate on those people who are in the major industrial site. Let's even talk about people who are driving, people who are using ferries, people who are even including air transportation. Try as substance. If you must use your substance, for instance, smoking, please do it outside the premises. Do it outside the premises. Because there are some of those reagents, some of those chemicals, some of those gases that if you do this thing, it will lead. I have seen a case where this information is not supposed to be new to most persons. We are on transit and then we happen to see how to refuel, and you see the persons inside the vehicle, they will be making calls. Over time, it has been emphasized that there are certain discharges that comes out of our phones. So when it gets to fueling stations, do well to trip up your phone from calls. We know your calls might be emergency, they might be urgent, they might be calls that you just cannot do without. But please, for your safety and your safety first before other person, put off the phone. Nothing, I've come to find out, nothing really in this life is urgent. Nothing really is urgent, because that very thing you think is very urgent and you want to be in a haste at doing it, if you passed on today, those things will still continue. They will still continue. So why not save your life first? So you see these persons, some of them will even be smoking. Some of those drivers, they will even carry their smoke into the fueling stations. These are not advisable. These are not advisable. That's why as a staff in those fueling stations, you should not say that they are aware. Don't just presume or don't just assume. If you notice something that, in fact, from the point they are even entering, let them know. Put those signs, put those symbols. Smoking is not allowed. Phone calls are not allowed. And if you notice anybody doing those things, let them know that it is not allowed. Okay? Let them know. Let them know that it's not allowed within that premise. Now, for the medical centers, now, I've seen, for instance, nurses, you want to break medication, they'll use their hand. There's a stage where you go into practice and then you are very good at it. You not mind, you break those vials of injections. While in training, I was used to doing those things until I learned my lesson. One day was it diclofenac thereabout? I just was trying to break it because we had an emergency, it was scattered abroad. Every other consultant were there, everybody was just seeing how to help and so on. We needed to, maybe let me just, okay, we'll leave that story. Let me just push my own side now. We'll talk about that one some other time. There was enough emergency on ground. The cardiologists, they were on ground. The pediatricians, they were on ground. Everybody were on ground. The nurses, anybody you could think about, just to see how to handle, because the number of persons, they were much. So I just hurried to help and break diclofenac. Everything shattered in my finger, this very hand. I sustained severe injury. Severe injury. From that day, I don't need someone to counsel me that if I must break those injections, whether at home, I am doing private practice, I must use paper or that nylon, that very protective covering that is used for syringes. I must use it to attach to it before breaking, because I want to protect myself first. If I get injured, then who is even going to administer those medication to the client? So you must protect yourself. This very aspect of injection, especially for the nurses, I don't know how long. Please, it's not a show of mastery. It's not a show of mastery. Protect yourself first. Do what you need to do to protect yourself. And on the other hand, handling of shafts, for instance, if that safety bin, right? That safety bin that is used for putting the syringes and this thing, you don't put the syringe there, because that's what most of your employers will complain, that the safety box, every shift before you come, the safety box is filled already. Now, this is how to reduce that very aspect. Okay, the syringe itself, put it in, because we have different bags, different labelings, different bags. Okay, the red for blood related, and then the black for foodstuffs, other this thing, yeah, and so on. Now, put that one in the regular waste, medication related waste. Okay, where you put those your packets of this is how they call it, carts of tablets. Put that one there. Then in that safety bin is where put that needle. The needle is, that's where you're supposed to put the needle. Okay, now you're not supposed to mix the both of them together. Put them there. And then these persons too that are handling it, you should know that what you're handling there are needles that have injected, that have had access to blood streams of different persons. You don't know the status of those persons, so handle it with care. And you too, that is in a haste, no matter the emergency, don't get to the point to put that very syringe and the needle in the general waste. Don't be in that haste to put it there. Don't be in that haste. Ensure you carefully remove the needle, put it in the safety bin. But if you are in a setting where it doesn't really matter because you have enough staffs to discard them, then you can safely, as you finish, don't recap. Yes, don't recap. For those who are into practices of recapping the needle, please don't recap. A lot of persons have sustained fatal injuries. A lot of persons have come down with disease condition they didn't bargain for because they wanted to recap the needle and syringe. Don't recap. Don't recap. Okay? So when you are done with your needle and your syringe, for those sides who have complaints with you, the safety bin getting filled so fast, use your glove hand, pull off the needle, put it in the safety bin, put the syringe in the general bin. Does that make sense to us? Now, that red bag and the yellow bag, where you put the yellow bag, highly infectious, the red bag, organs and so on. Nowhere, no, please try to check that up. Nowhere to put the different things. You don't go to the general bin, which is the black label bin, and go and put blood related content, or you go and put an organ of a patient that has been chopped off. No, you don't put it. Separate them so that they can be properly managed. Okay, this is somehow talking about the aspect of waste management. Then on the other hand, for the cleaners in those settings, always ensure that floors are dried. For those, maybe you were eating, you were doing anything, water get to spill on the floor, inform someone, inform the cleaners so that they can get it dried. Most time it may not even be another person, you might even be the one that will step on that same water. So do well to ensure the appropriate persons to clean it off. Lightings should be turned off when they are not in use. Switches should be turned off when they are not in use, except that those things are in use. This also would reduce the rate of harm where we have fire outbreak in facilities. Those instruments, those gadgets that you are not using at the moment, switch them off. Switch the switch off. Put it off. Trip it off. Okay? So you don't keep powering them. These gadgets know that they are electronics and they have points where they get hotter. Some of them might even be faulty and you keep on powering it. You don't switch off those switch. They get to a point where that heat is no longer bearable and then you now see fire outbreaks. So please turn off switches when they are not in use. Turn them off. For those facilities, for instance, let me use the as you call the medical centers, okay? X-ray departments. There are zones where you should put only for staffs, highly restricted. Put those labeling. There are points where you need to wear those vests. Put them so that someone who does not know does not just step into them, because those radiation can be very harmful, those radiative elements. So do well to put those labeling and emphasize it for persons who are stepping in to those areas, those zones, so that they will know that at this point it has now become dangerous. Put it so that they will know. And then for the staffs now, avoid unnecessary play at your workplace. Avoid unnecessary play. If you know you have any condition that needs medical attention, seek it on time. I've just mentioned hypertension. There is that of glucose, that is diabetes. Do well to report for proper treatment. If you have eye-related complaint, and you are in industrial site where they do welding, it won't be so much of benefit to you. If you have eye related complaint and your industrial site where they do welding, so you can look for other work to do. And if you are in settings where, even though you don't have, now this for persons who don't have eye related complaints, you are in setting where they do welding, it is advisable you use your Google. Use your Google. Eye is so precious that almost everything depends on it. It drives your life. It drives the direction of your life. Take care of these eyes. Take care of them. Where you see that you are a welder, you need to weld anything. I've seen welders who would not mind. They'll still be going on with the welding without using their Google. Do well to put them on. Put them on. Always put them on. If you need to climb height, that's jack. That's how I think it's jack they call it or something. That will hold you up there. Put it on. Don't risk yourself. I've seen people, yes, master have made them. They could climb as very slim zones without even using all these protective measures. You don't know the day it will happen. So do well, please. Do well to use your safety. They call it personal protective equipment. Use your personal protective equipment very well. For those in healthcare setting, use your glove. Almost in every procedure you are doing, please use glove. Especially invasive procedures. Don't miss glove. Don't economize the safety of your staffs to the point where they need to start using their bare hands. Please use gloves when need be. Use hand gloves. Other things you need to use that relate with your PPE. For instance, that coat they wear. For those who work in industrial site that you need to cross over the night, they do both morning and night duties. If you don't have that, if a staff does not have or is not putting on that very coat and the appropriate one, please, because some of them have helped staffs. I've heard of a particular place, was it? Yeah, where a particular staff fell onto he fell onto sharps. That's it was like a manhole. So there were iron that were protruded. So the guy fell off. What made people know that there was a danger? There was when the flashlight and it was on his coat. Did that light reflected? That reflector, it reflected. That's how they were able to save that guy. Because nobody would have known that somebody was lying there. Nobody would have known. But because he was on his personal protective equipment, so people were able to identify him on time and to save his life. So do well to put on your personal protective equipment. Okay? Now, when this I've talked about turning off and turning on of the machines. I've talked about that. I don't need to emphasize that again. You don't need to emphasize that. Before I will proceed, please, just in case you have any question in the comment box related to this very discussion, we're talking about occupational safety, work site safety, industrial site safety. Let me know in the comment box. If you have any question that relates with this, please let me know in the comment box. All right, so we can talk about them. Let me know. All right, say make money with favor. Say great teaching. Thank you so much for that. Make money with favor. I'm so grateful to have you here. I'm so grateful, please. I'm so grateful. Trust me, I'm so grateful. So if you are just connecting, and you have any question with industrial site safety, please let us know in the comment box. Okay, let us know in the comment box. If you're just connecting, you have questions that relate with industrial site safety, please let us know. Okay. Yeah, another aspect I want to go while I'm expecting our question is hazard identification. I talked about that earlier in brief. Learn to always identify points of hazard. Let me pick some of those hazards. Okay, I talked about shafts. We see sharps or shafts wrongly discarded on time. On time, do well to discard them to the appropriate place. Then I've talked about spills of water. Do well to get those floors mopped. Do well to get them off. Electrical appliances, you have seen that it's exposed. Do well to call the attention of appropriate persons to fix those points that have been exposed. Maybe you saw a sparking. Don't just overlook until the sparks. I've stayed in a hostel before where our meter was getting bad. We have complained and complained and tired. The management like, we'll come and fix it, we'll come and fix it, we'll come and fix it. Till one day, thank God, everybody, it was daytime. This meter exploded. If not for God, it would have set the entire hostel ablaze. So imagine if everybody was sleeping that day and then this thing exploded and the fire escalated. What do you expect of it? A lot of persons would have lost their life. So when you see some of these gadgets, they are already becoming faulty. Do well to notify the appropriate personnel, the appropriate authorities, so that they can see how to fix them. Yes, chemicals, I talked about them earlier. Appropriate labeling is very important. Appropriate labeling. You see somebody that is working and then the place is a noisy site, he needs to use earpiece and the person is not on it. If that person was told to use it and is not using it, give that person query. Because when he or she loses his or her hearing capacity, it is still you that will blame. It is still you that you have, especially in the African setting, that you want to use them for blood mourning. I've heard things like that. So staff should not just be considered the detriment of their life and the work. Now, I talked about training, right? Now, this goes even on to the healthcare workers. From time to time, create seminars, create workshops. Let them go and learn how to protect themselves, how to be safe, how to make the work site safe, how to make their workplace safe. Most persons don't know. They don't even know they train in their profession. So do well from time to time. Create workshops, create seminars, and have your members attend it. Then, on the other hand, emergency preparedness. Emergency preparedness. What are the things you have put in place for protection if a particular emergency comes up? What are the things? There are industrial sites that their staff, there is no HMO for them. There are those that even though they have the HMO, but the money paid for certain condition, you don't want to hear them. They may charge as low as nothing. How do you expect them to get the optimum service when the HMO, what covers for that specification of those challenges, they are nothing to write home about? So emergency preparedness involves putting in place measures that perhaps something happen or peradventure something comes up that would cause to loss of life or would cause danger to the work, that these things that were put in place will actually minimize the harm, okay? So another form of emergency preparedness will have this, how do you call it, that the fire extinguisher. Every site need it, every workplace, every industrial setting, they need it. And you know another funny part? Not everybody knows how to use this fire extinguisher. Not everybody knows how to use it. So train your staffs from time to time, especially those new ones that will be coming. Train them how to use the fire extinguisher, just in case something happens along the way. They should know how to use them. train them on how to use them. So we talked about compliance. Yeah, thank you so much, Vibe with Sonia. You're welcome to my platform. God bless you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy birthday to Hobby. Happy birthday to my mainest man. Hope you have extended my regards to him, right? Don't worry, when I visit your town, I'm going to come with my cake and every other thing. Yeah, I'm going to come with my cake. And we're going to party, 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 party. Yes, so yeah, Fabi, you're welcome. You're welcome to my live stream, okay? You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Twinny. Thank you. I will tell you. Okay, please, I'll be right back. Please, I'll be right back, okay? Yeah, thank you so much, Twinny, for the thumbs up. Sonia say, okay, thank you so much, Sonia, for the thumbs up. Thank you so much, Chiamaka. I'm so grateful. Um, Thank you so much, Catherine. So grateful having you here. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, every one of you. Thank you so much. Okay. So on this live stream, we're just talking about industrial site safety, which is workplace safety. All right. So we're just trying to touch different sites, different places, different place of work, different. Yeah, that's just it. How to be safe, how to ensure that you keep yourself safe first before you complain about the salary, before you complain about anything at all. How to keep ensure that you are safe. That's the first thing. So we're actually talking about the aspect of emergency preparedness. Yeah, thank you so much, Chiamaka. Sonia, Chiamaka is greeting from this end. I think Sonia is awful. Chiamaka, after I think this night we need to visit Sonia. Oh. Today is hubby's birthday. All right, so we're saying some of the preparedness includes HMO, so that if persons your staff comes up with health related complaint, they can be able to have a place to run to at the least amount. All right, so they should be able to enroll with HMO, and the HMO policy should be that at least would allow them. I have seen a particular HMO that if your wife, for instance, wants to deliver, if it is normal delivery, is 20,000 naira that they will support you with, and then if it is cesarean section, the most they will give is 120. Now you look at those kind of sites, how do you want to motivate your staffs? How do you want to motivate them? Are they praying that you go for cesarean section always? Are they praying for that? So you must ensure that health healthcare management or healthcare management plans are in place for your staffs. On the other hand, how to use these gadgets. So I talked about the fire extinguisher, for instance, for settings that you know that it can easily be set aflame. Ensure that they have these things in place, and then not just in it, because we have a lot of persons who are aware, or they are aware they have fire extinguisher but they don't know how to use it. So ensure that they are given awareness from time to time on how to use them. Then other forms of emergency preparedness is to also create awareness to the staff. They need to use those personal protective equipment. You need to create that awareness from time to time, because there are a lot of persons who don't know how to use a couple of things. All right, so we go beyond that to talk about the aspect of creating exit point and entry point. Your exit point should be different from your entry point in cases of emergency. So I think that's another aspect. Then regular inspections is necessary on those sites. From time to time, you go, you inspect if they have dumped sharps in the wrong place, if they have dumped refuse in the wrong place. You also go check the wirings of that setting. If the wires are exposed, you check them from time to time. You also check if let's say there were places that have soccer well and so on, if they are saved. I once managed a patient that was the height of it I ever saw. That woman was alive is a miracle that even till date we just thank God for life. She went for I think her uncle burial or something like that, and then on the the venue of the event, she was trying to support them in preparing food and other things. She didn't know that soccer well. I think that was the second time I heard, but this one I saw it myself. The other one I heard about it. Now, she didn't know that the soccer well had gone bad. So she just went to sit down there. That is how the thing collapsed with her. And then she found herself inside that physics. She found herself inside the soccer well. And the soccer well swallowed her to the point that the only thing was just her hand at this point. What was left. Now imagine if that soccer well was that deep and then she was not tall enough too. Imagine one, if it was very deep, or on the other hand, she was not tall. You could see that nobody will even know there was somebody there. So imagine those places there are even places where they know their soccer well is bad and it's already exposed. They will not even cover it up. So this woman was just hanging there and her hand was just up there. Lucky enough for her, after like some moment when they were looking for her, they didn't find her. Somebody now passed through. They now saw somebody's hand lifted up there. That is how they call other people's attention. And they were able to lift her up. And they took her to the hospital. Already, everywhere you could imagine, physics have penetrated all the orifices. Physics have penetrated. And they rushed her to the hospital. They rushed her to, yeah, just with Mandy, thank you so much for having me here. Hey, Yeneka, phone. Eyene, can you there? Okay, thank you so much for the emoji. Thank you so much. All right. Nito, Ubede. All right. Okay, thank you. So we're just talking about industrial site safety, work site safety, and we're not just um, cutting the discussion around major sites. We're also talking about okay, off on no, come on me. All right, we're also talking about um, even our major places, including our shops and so on. They need because someone say na your workshop abi where you dey work na you go shop, something like that. Yeah, workshop na place, the place where you dey work na you go shop. All right, so you must be able, exactly, you must be able to check those things. And just that soccer well I mentioned, that woman, after they took her to the hospital, after a while she came and met me say I'm not still satisfied with this treatment. I even gave her psychological concern, trying to imagine herself inside that soccer well. She was trying to imagine herself, how, if she's even safe and so on, if she's even sane enough. So because as I say, I'm a mental health personnel, so I was able to counsel her, talk her out of, she was even getting depressed self, try to talk her out of it. So we have to ensure that these things, from time to time you inspect the work environment. If things are still okay, then check if there are spills of water. Yes, so Mandy, that was a life event. Oh, God saved that woman. God saved her. If not for God, even me, I can't even explain how it happened, how she was saved. All she knows was that somebody who went for to assist in her uncle's burial, finding herself inside soccer well. It's not. It wasn't a palatable story at all. It wasn't a palatable one. So we have to ensure that those things be expected. If yes, God is great, oh, God is great. From time to time you check if they are in position, if they are in shape. Now I talked about those persons who are already drug addicts. Some of them may not even help it, even when where they are working, their put is no smoking, no flame, no phone call. They will still make their call inside there. They will still smoke inside there. So you have to, as a manager or as a safety officer, from time to time go and check if they are smoking. Earlier I talked about people that smoke while driving, or people that smoke in filling station or make calls in filling station. So both the people selling the fuel or the petrol, ensure that when you see the, first of all, put those symbols, put those signs, and if you notice any of them are breaking those laws, those rules, call them to that. As a driver, it's not even expected that you should be the one leading by example. All right, so you are smoking and then you are driving. Who is saving who? So those things, from time to time, as a safety officer, check all those things. Check it from time to time. Also check your site. If you see grasses they are coming up, please, on time, let them be able to eliminate those grasses. This can also harbor reptiles. It can harbor reptiles. So do well to ensure that you inspect your site from time to time. You inspect your site from time to time. Now ensure they comply with regulations. I have stepped into a site where, oh, so sorry, Chiamaka, so sorry. Is it improved now? Is the network improved now? I don't know if it is from my end or from your end. Is it improved? Yeah, thank you so much, Chiamaka. Thank you for having me here. God bless you, ma. God bless you. Is the network improved? All right. So as I was saying, from compliance with regulation, I stepped into a particular occupational site, and they state out up to there about 50 policies that you must keep to. Okay, okay. Thank you for still sticking by. Okay, thank you. All right. So they kept about 50 policies. You don't fight, you don't keep malice, you don't drink, You must eat on time. If you have health-related complaint, ensure you sort it out before you resume and so on. But sometimes it may not even be from the side of the employers, it may even be from the medics. Ensure that those policies they are kept, that every staff stick to the policy. I've shared it earlier where I say two persons were fighting in an industrial site, and then the other person pushes the other one. No, it wasn't even fight, it was play. This one was even play. He pushed the other person, and they did not know there was sharp on the ground. That is how the sharp pierced him. So avoid plays. Avoid plays when you are on duty. Avoid it. Unnecessary play, rough plays, avoid them while you are on duty. This is to secure yourself and other persons. Okay? Then, incident reporting is another aspect. When you see there was something threatening, this also goes to including the healthcare personnel's incident report. Now, there was a particular day where in the facility there was this patient. It was in a surgical ward. This patient was supposed to go in for surgery the next day, and that was during that COVID era. It was during COVID era. This man was supposed to go for surgery, and then his case didn't look that serious. I think it was it a hernia? I think it was a hernia. But his presentation was not that serious. In the mid of the night, he started coughing, and we thought he was just joking and so on. The cough kept increasing. Later, we now look for medication to handle cough. The next day morning was supposed to be surgery by 9 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, cough became something else that nobody can explain that cough. And we did everything we could do. By exactly 7 o'clock, he has gone to the point where even the oxygen we placed him on was no longer helping. This is someone that came in without any cough, nothing at all. He only came in for hernia surgery, and cough developed in the hospital. By 7:15, this man gave up. In fact, that was some of the things those were some of the few cases that made people like we believe that indeed COVID really entered into Nigeria. Those were some of those few cases that made us felt that COVID actually entered Nigeria. All right. So, what are we saying in essence? That man, we needed to report so that they would take caution with every other person that have attended to this very man. As long as you have access to that man, for him to you did not come with cough, nothing related to cough. In fact, what you came for, the admission was for something that do not even have anything to relate with the respiratory system. And now, your cough just started 7 p.m. in the night, 7:15 in the morning, you have given up. Then we needed to find out what exactly was wrong. So every other person were placed on quarantine to check up so that you don't contact this illness and keep spreading it. So that is the role of incident report, where you see things. For instance, those kind of patients, you need to write a report on them. How it started, what was done, and why he didn't respond. If you have reason to back up, why he didn't respond, put it up. Two people fight in a work site, write a report on it. They need to be disciplined. Don't just play down on it. Write a report on it. Someone was bitten by a snake or an insect. Write a report on it. Write a report on it. Don't just play down on them. So follow through what needs to. There are guidelines. Every facility have guidelines for their incident report. The industrial setting have their own guideline for their incident report. Where there was accident that resulted in loss of life, you must write a comprehensive report, especially the aspect of who did wrong. Was it a point where a particular person did not do what he or she meant to have done that resulted in that accident? Write a report on it. It's necessary So the other persons will also, beside the fact that in some instance you need to dish out disciplinary measures, so that other persons would also learn from it and then take their safety very serious. Okay, so incident report is very necessary in industrial sites or at workplaces. Incident report is very necessary. Don't play down on it. These are some of the tips as employer or employee you need to know. You need to take safety very serious because you need to be alive to even work. Safety culture, you have to foster it. Fostering a culture of safety within the organization where safety is prioritized and encouraged at all levels. So safety should not just be something that is for the employees, then the employers, they don't keep to it. Or only the top persons keep to it. Remember I said earlier, if you notice that your safety boot is getting bad, replace it on time. Your how do they call that, your clothing is wet, your coat is wet, please dry it, put on another one. That is because electrocution, most electrocution occurs from here. You are working with wet clothes, handling naked wires. So please, safety measure is for everybody. Safety practices is for everybody, not just for a certain group of person. You continue to improve as staffs, as the management, in beefing up your safety strategies. From time to time, you keep improving. You keep improving. Remember I talked about seminars. If you are not doing seminar on educating your people how to use some of these things and what are the trends, you are not helping your staffs. So start putting them up. Call for conferences, go for conferences, attend them. Okay, from time to time, see how to improve. By implementing these measures, as well as to ensure that we have a safe working environment for all the employees. If you have any specific question at all in relation to this topic, please let us know in the comment box. Okay, this is just our own way of giving out awareness. So like Fabi would always say, she said drink water. Please drink your water. I should just chip this in. Okay, most persons who work in environment, industrial side where the place is very hot, you need to stay that you don't collapse. Drink water from time to time. Drinking water should not be only when you are thirsty. In fact, take this from me that anytime you feel thirsty, it means your water level have really stepped down, your fluid level have stepped down. So your body is creating that alarm because it has stepped down. So you don't need to allow it to get to that point where you are feeling thirsty. And sometimes we even feel thirsty to the point where that water, I don't know how to put it, that level of craving, that if they see the water, they feel like even eating the water. Stay hydrated, okay? I'm coming, please. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Thank you so much for connecting. I want to appreciate everyone that connected. Chiamaka, we have her here with us earlier. We had Favor the midwife. We have Kathy, that's Catherine. We have Gist with Mandy. All of them are YouTubers. You need to connect with them too to see the other side of the content. So you need to connect with them too. We had Vibe with Sonia. We have, she's my boss. So please check her up if you want to grow in YouTube related aspect. Then make money will favor every other person. Please do well to connect with them, okay? I think I have to end this live stream at this point. My attention is needed. God bless every one of us. See us much later, okay? We were supposed to give you the continuation of the discussion when life happens. So I think any moment when I'm less busy along today, before 4 possibly, we should be able to anchor that aspect. So see us, catch us very soon. Take care. I'm signing out at this point. Thank you.